For the next few days, Néo spent most of his time meditating at the edge of the pool of water. Ambient energy rolled off of him in waves and rippled through the placid water. In his deep contemplation, the mana began to flow through his body with more and more ease, whereas before, his emotions placed a dam in the river of his soul. The mana flow had become second nature. Maze emphasized that he take his time to complete his healing, and a measure of that would be accomplished through regular and steady meditation. Néo obliged, as he didn't mind not having chores to do, but also to allow his mind to freely drift through the sea of mana he conjured for himself. It was like a brand new world of unknown wonders and possibilities, and to think that it had been hiding right under his nose this whole time. After meditating through the mornings, he would take a leisurely walk through the woods back to the cabin before a short lesson with Maze. He found that it helped clear his mind, and it put him at ease. He also found that the world around him seemed brighter and more vivid, as if the weight of his previous bitterness placed a veil over his eyes. After such a walk in his return to the cabin, however, when he attempted to open the door, it seemed to be jammed shut. Frowning, he knelt to get a closer look, and in the small amount that the door would give, he could see that some components of the latching mechanism had malfunctioned.
Maze! I think the door is broken! Maze!
He continued to wrestle with the door, and still it would not budge. He rapped his knuckles on the wood, hoping that Maze would hear and come to his assist. But there was no response, and he heard no movement from within the cabin. He resorted to barging into it with his shoulder, and it started to give. Just when he thought he was about to make it inside, suddenly his body was seized and he crumpled to the ground. In the distance, he heard the clip-clops of a horse drawing near and the voice of a young woman.
Not a very smart idea to try and rob a wizard's cabin.
Néo couldn't move a single muscle, and in his limited knowledge of magic, he discerned that a spell had been cast onto him. He knew not how to remove it. Evelyn dismounted from her horse and walked up to Néo, rolling him over to face her. He blinked, briefly surprised by her agreeable countenance and her stunning blue eyes.
We're quite a ways from the nearest settlement. You must be desperate. Here, let me fix that for you.
I'm not a robber.
Sounds like something a robber would say.
I swear! I'm a student of Maze.
Oh? What's his favorite tea then?
Mushroom tea?
But what kind of mushroom?
I don't know.
Okay. What's the color of his favorite cloak?
Dark blue.
Well, I might just have to...
Oh there!
Evelyn turned to see Maze cross the tree line to the right carrying a bucket, approximately 20 meters from the cabin. Néo craned his neck as best he could.
Maze!
Welcome back, young one. Oh, I see you two have already met. Is there a reason you've paralyzed him?
Oh, I thought he was a robber trying to break in.
Something is wrong with the door. It wasn't opening.
Ah, yes, it's been giving me trouble too.
I will remove this spell, then.
Wait. Why don't you try doing it yourself, Néo?
I don't know how.
Use what I've taught you to examine the spell. Try to unweave it. As soon as it begins to unravel, the spell will dissolve. Give it a try.
Evelyn and Maze quietly watched as Néo struggled for a few moments, but eventually, like a child lacking dexterity, he clumsily broke apart the spell.
Well done.
Wait, how long has he been training?
A couple of weeks.
2 weeks? Who are you?
He rose to his feet, standing at least 2 inches above Evelyn, as he brushed the dirt off his clothes and shrugged.
I'm Néo from Gallon. And you are?
Evelyn, from Stone Road. I've been a student of May's for 3 years, but this only took you 2 weeks?
I guess I'm a natural. 3 years is a long time. You must be really good at magic.
Oh, thanks. But I still have a lot to learn.
Speaking of learning, it's time to continue training.
The next several days were filled with routine training and study of the arcane. Seeing Evelyn's proficiency in magic encouraged him to apply himself even more. The work was exciting and challenging. Finally, one day, Maze decided Néo was ready to meet Casper, the dragon that they purchased in the arid land of Darmos. Evelyn was elated and introduced the two. Néo was certainly terrified, as the dragon's menacing red eyes were unsettling. Eventually, he relaxed and noted that some of Casper's mannerisms resembled that of a dog. Weeks turned to months, and the months blended into years. Néo and Evelyn grew close, as Maze introduced other forms of combat. While Evelyn specialized in archery, Néo studied the sword, eagerly learning all that he could from Maze. He began to surpass Evelyn. He was able to conjure increasingly powerful spells and fought better and stronger. Maze truly believed that he found a prodigy from the most unlikely of places, but none of them understood his true nature. During the winter, before Evelyn's 6th year of training and Neo's 3rd, the three gathered for a feast to celebrate their progress. The table was filled with roasted ham, fresh biscuits, vegetables, and large mugs of ale.
To the two of you!
To all of us!
To bread!
So what is there for us to do when we finish training?
Oh, plenty. There's still more yet to learn and discover. In fact, I've been meaning to bring up something called the Arcanum Conclave. Every year, the capital city hosts the conclave, where highly skilled wizards and mages go to gather and discuss magic theory.
I'd quite like to go on that.
You both would certainly benefit. You'll be old enough for the next one, so I'll take you both next summer.
That sounds like fun. I'd love to meet other wizards.
You remind me when I was your age.
How long ago was that? A few centuries?
I'm not that old, you little imp.
Who taught you magic?
Me? Well, I've had a few teachers throughout my life, but the most notable one was Sir Somra. He found me scurrying through the market of the capital as a young lad. I tried to pick his pocket.
Wait, what?
That's right. I used to be a thief.
You? A thief? I don't believe it.
It is the truth. I suppose Sir Samra saw something in me when he caught me and took me under his tutelage. He saved me from destitution, really.
Were you born in the capital?
Aye, to a whore in the slums.
I never knew this about you. I thought you were of noble blood.
Quite the opposite.
So then, where do you get all your money?
Let's say I have friends in high places. But that's a story for another time. Oh, that reminds me. I need to finish drafting a letter for the Royal Council. The letter details your training credentials so that they can be recognized.
Maze, a thief. This whole time, and I never knew that.
So do you plan to return home? I'm sure your parents would love to see you again.
Well, yes. But I don't know if I'll stay there.
Why not?
I want to be independent of my parents, and Stone Road is old news. Plus, I like it here.
Yeah, me too. But I guess I don't really have anywhere else to go right now.
Is Galen out of the question?
I don't know. I've thought about it.
What's stopping you?
Fear. Before I turned 12, I had good friends. We would play games all the time, playing in the forest or hiding in the brush and throwing berries at people as they passed by. One time he helped Charlie dress up like a scarecrow. He set him on the baker's gardens, and when he passed by, Charlie jumped out and scared him. We all ran away laughing as he chased us, but we were too fast.
You got up to quite the mischief.
We did. But like I said, that was before I turned 12. I still had some friends, but they didn't want to get close. Their mothers advised them to keep their distance, and some others began to mock me. Charlie would still play with me, but when we were playing soldiers, my magic became unpredictable, and I accidentally burned his leg. His mother had many sharp words to share with Adriana, and after that, Charlie stopped talking to me.
That's horrible.
Yes, people were afraid of me, and I hated them for it. Sorry to bring the mood down.
No, it's okay. I'm glad you trusted me to share this.
Well, I'm grateful that Maze found me and that I met you. It feels like I have a place to belong here. A family. I've never had that before.
I'm glad I met you too.
Finally, as the forest transitioned into spring, the years of intense and relentless training drew to a close, and Maze deemed Evelyn and Néo as fully fledged mages, simultaneously recognizing their maturation into adulthood. Holding their celebrations, Neo's heart glowed with effervescent warmth. Maze had assisted in his journey of growth and self-acceptance, a father of sorts, and Evelyn had become a close companion. Near the conclusion of the celebration, and much to the confusion of the others, Néo focused his mana and bent the light around them, creating the illusion of a large pile of bread. While it wasn't real bread, it was close enough to make him beam with glee. Adriana would be proud.